Kluz Ztrack Distribution here. It is August 2026. A number of years ago, I was up at Dunkirk, Ohio, at this amazing place with this crossing, and I caught a CXX auto rack train plowing through the diamonds. I mean, it was loud, it was impressive. The ES 4400s were doing elephant style, and this amazing mixed set of auto racks were just crossing through it. Took this video that you're watching now. And I always wanted to model that scene. I always wanted to create that scene, and that scene would inspire kits like the Dunkirk tower kit. That's what we did with Arca Stories. We actually would model this whole scene as a T-Track Z module. We would do some videos previously to kind of show this module and the inspiration with an auto rack train, but it really wasn't accurate. It was missing something. And what it was missing was those first two cars you saw behind that engine. Those auto maxes, we didn't have them in Z scale. I mean, we had tri-level and bi-level auto racks, but we were missing those articulated massive cars. And the question was if or when we would actually see them in Z scale. Well, we got our answer. That answer is today. It's now. There we are. In front of us is the Dunkirk module in Z scale. But what about that train? What about those auto maxes? What about what we have coming up? So let's run them through. Let's see them. So it's August 2026, about mid-August here, and Azl'S has just released their articulated auto max car carriers. These are massive cars, folks, and there you go. There they are running through Dunkirk. A little bit like that video you just saw. Same position right behind the engines, pulling a fleet of other auto carriers behind it. This was a big, ambitious project from Azl'S. Years ago, I received a rapid prototype sample of what an Automax articulated car would look like. We actually have video of that running, kind of a teaser from a few years ago. But this is the first time it's really been mass produced. And it's fun because it really demonstrates what happens in Z-Scale today, where we can run larger, big cars. We have the ability to do that. We have the layouts, we have the space, we have the motive power. We have that ability to really run what you see today. And these Automaxes, well, they're on the rails, running as we speak right now. So let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing here. One of the questions I frequently get asked is, how do these cars work together? So what that means is, how do they work with other cars? So as we look at this train running, it is a mix. So it is, the first two are obviously Azl'S Automax. The next car up is actually an Atlas. It's a multi-max. So Atlas just this year, 2026, came out with the multi-max auto carriers. So we decided to put that in behind those Automax to show how you can run these items together. Then we've got some mixed in bi-level, tri-level auto racks from Azl'S. These are older releases, so they released them over years of both a tri-level and bi-level version. So I've got a few of those mixed in with another, one or two of the Atlas cars. And as you can see, they're just plain running together. There's actually no problems I've found mixing and matching these cars. I think the first thing, we'll just take a general comment here about some differences between Azl'S and Atlas. The Azl'S cars are heavier, which Atlas tend to be obviously a little lighter. Not a problem, just a call out. And I would find that the Azl'S couplers are easier to couple together than with the Atlas. But when we're pulling a train with weight, no problems. I mean, there's absolutely no problem. The Azl'S Automax, which we're going to talk about mostly in this video, right out of the box, these two car sets that you're seeing running, they have not been run before. So what you're seeing is the first time on this layout. No problems. One of the questions we have too is minimum radius. So these modules are running 270 millimeters on the outside, which 245 on the inside. Azl'S has quoted that these cars will run down to 195 millimeters. Now, we have not validated that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I found the articulation on these cars extremely smooth. I mean, just not a lot of problems. They just go. One thing I will state, though, if you're putting these cars on track, railing ramps might be helpful. because obviously it's big. You got 3 different trucks that you're working on to put them onto the rails. But yeah, they are pretty seamless. One call out, and this has been documented with Tim Mills at USZ Scale. Shout out to Tim, one of our big dealers. He did do a video as well on these cars, called out that he had a loose axle set in his package. I have seen that on one other one. So just double check your wheels, make sure nothing got loose in shipping. And they're easy to pop right back onto those trucks, so no problems there. Height, ways, detail wise, you're really seeing something special. I mean, this is amazing to me to be able to go back, look at that video I shot at Dunkirk, Ohio, and see how we're representing that in our Z-Scale worlds. Another thing I want to point out as you're watching is, we talk a lot about paint and finish, and how manufacturers are finishing. Azl'S, Atlas, props for both of them. They've done amazing work finishing their cars the way they've done it. But the one slight difference I'm going to call this out is when you look at the Automaxes, it's really easy for a manufacturer to just say, okay, big white cars. But when you come across, I'm hoping this video will show it nicely, you will notice that the Automax set, the OK set, the first one we released in August, actually is more white. The Kansas City set, which just so happens to be a teaser next month's release into September, is more of an off-white. I like that kind of detail. That's what you see out there in the real world too. Paint is not all one color, and even between the same cars, it can change. So it's those kind of nuances, that kind of subtlety that makes a big difference and really does show up on our layouts. A couple other things, Azl'S does a lot of their sides are actually etched metal. That kind of one reason why they are heavier than the Atlas, which are pad printed. Not really that discernible on a layout, just a fact I'm going to point out here. But as we look at this, this is model railroading today. This is 2026. This is the ability in Z-Scale to run the trains and start duplicating trains that you have seen over the last 20 years. It's pretty cool. So again, we've been running these. I will be frank, I actually ran a set of Automaxes with a mix of auto racks from Azl'S and maybe one of the Atlas cars mixed in when Hans Ridderwald, owner of Azl'S, wasn't looking, for 8 hours. Not a single derailment, not a single issue, not a single uncouple. So they're just solid. They're proven, and I think they're going to make really good additions to your layout. So as we talk about this is Rob Kluz, Ztrack Distribution. It is August 2026. Azl'S Automaxes are out and available now. The first run is A-OK. Kansas City's coming up next month. They run great with the all-new Atlas Multimax cars. They will run great with your previous Azl'S tri-level, bi-level auto racks. So, yeah, they're out there online. Any questions? Drop me an email, sales@ztrack.com. As always, thank you for watching, and enjoy the video, and enjoy the rest of your Z-Scale day. Thanks.